Hello and welcome back, everyone, as we're preparing for game number 2 here. ZOOS Gaming going up against Cloud9 Academy. We just saw a very interesting early game lead into a very quick snowball from Cloud9 Academy. Actually, maybe not too fast, but it did turn into a snowball eventually. As ZOOS Gaming were not able to find that early win here. Cloud9 Academy showing up strong. Coco, walk me through what went wrong for ZOOS, starting with that early jungle.
Yeah, well, it all begins before the minions clash in the lanes with how just Cloud9 Academy and initially with Darshan invading to get a cheeky play onto RBM to really slow down their Skarner's warpath in game 1 of the series. And with that, the early level 1 pressure that both the Mundo and Orianna from Copy and Surenfire were able to outmatch that of ZOOS Gaming's composition in that early stage allowed so much freedom for this Mundo to continually scale up, become this unkillable frontline for the rest of the team to play around and grab these objectives, grab these fights, grab these picks. And from there, it was just Cloud9 Academy's game to just absolutely control. And with that, it just allows a lot of the carries to show their scars and show their colors, with King being able to pick up a triple kill at the end of the game, and of course Isles, who's been able to constantly find picks on this rel. So overall, it was a small issue, small piece of concern in the mind of ZOOS Gaming became an avalanche in this game 1, and that's what we wanted to see out of this first seed of Cloud9 Academy, is how well can you take a very small punishment and then make it such a massive consequence. And we're going to see if ZOOS Gaming can actually recuperate from that loss and head into the second game with something new on the board.
3 jungle bans were put towards Surenfire in that game number 1. Defaults to the Mundo and absolutely bodies the jungle. And if you notice, if you're keeping track during those replays, I want to say that there were 3 or 4 times that Surenfire was just in the jungle of ZOOS Gaming and said, no, this is my territory. You cannot come in here. It's my jungle now. Another matchup, or lane matchup, that we didn't talk about as much during the game, just because we didn't get to see that much, crazy plays around it, but was actually the top lane matchup, Darshan versus Alorum. This was the counterpick Cho'Gath into the gangplank from Alorum, but there were multiple times that we saw Darshan just absolutely shoving Alorum in once he picked up that Divine Sunderer item and got a couple more items under his belt. So overall, ZOOS Gaming, they got to be looking at this draft thinking, we have to adapt something, right? Obviously, what we did last game didn't work. So in your opinion, what should ZOOS be looking at if we're thinking about it from the team that just lost perspective? And then we'll cover Cloud9 Academy after.
True. There's a lot of big concerns that you have to address. Like there's, depending on which side you're going to be picking up, if you're going blue or red side, that gives some different authorities and options for ZOOS Gaming to go with. And because of that, I think even no matter what side they pick, I still think Alorum on an isolationist matchup in that top side of the map is still favorable for ZOOS. It's what they're familiar with, and it's something that you can still contest Darshan in those lanes. It was just unfortunate that it's a Cho'Gath into that gangplank, right? That you're just sort of stuck in this island that you can't help out the rest of your team because of how everything else is going through that situation. But outside of that isolationist factor in the top side of the map, I'm looking at the bottom lane. We need to get some kill pressure down here, and the best way to fix a 2v2 situation that you're losing is to add a third man, and I think it's something that we need to add a lot of bot pressure out of RBM's jungle picks. Yeah,
we didn't see a lot of early game plays coming in from RBM. I mean, partly because of how far behind he was put based on that early level 1 invade coming in from Surenfire. So I don't want to discredit RBM too much from that, but when you're playing the Skarner, you have to hit that level 6 and then make plays happen. We saw him try to go top lane. They didn't quite get that shove in, and then he had to just awkwardly back. And then we saw him also go for that play aggressively onto Jinx, but she was able to flash away. There wasn't a single moment that I was like, boom, RBM got that big pick, that insane catch that they needed to then get an objective. So, I mean, not that I dislike the Skarner pick on its own, but you have to play it aggressively. You have to play it looking for those plays. So maybe going to the bot side a little more could help them out if they're forced back onto that. But now let's take a look at it from the Cloud9 Academy side. The team that just came off of a victory right there. Game played out pretty much how they like to have their games play out. So, I mean, are they just like, run it back? Or is there anything that you could see them adapting and maybe trying to shore up some holes in their strategy going forward?
Yeah, you could do a salty run back, but I'll just get a little bit of formalities out of the way as C9 is going to be playing red side. ZOOS selected blue side for game 2. So that will change up the draft a little bit more. We might not be seeing that salty run back because of how highly contested some of those ADCs are in that bottom side of the map. So maybe we see Raheen pick up that Jinx, or maybe we see a Tristana flex pick on blue side for ZOOS Gaming, which they can play, and they're very effective at running that Tristana in multiple situations. We'll have to see how well they're able to if it comes into fruition, but that does mean that Cloud9 will have that red side counter pick, and it's a question of where they're going to be putting that counter pick. We saw jungle really go down deep into the draft in game 1, so we might be seeing that counter pick situation, but more than likely, I think you give the counter pick to this top side of the map. Let Darshan get his pick of the litter, even if it's a little cheesy. I may not agree with it personally if you pick Vayne or Tryndamere top again, but if you're able to find something that if you find something with Darshan saying, look, I can play the way the team needs to, and we're not really sacrificing any massive consequences or like issues of concern like what the Vayne top almost did in their second game of the series against Dig Mirage, then I'd definitely be confident for West Rice to just give him the reins on that one.
And let me just run everybody through Darshan's champ pool that he's played so far just in 2021. Vayne, Tryndamere, Sion, Gnar, Renekton, Gangplank, and Camille. And then if you're looking at 2020, he's played things like the Jax, Kayle, Wukong, and Shen. So this guy's champion, he's been playing League of Legends for a long time.
A lot of champions.
Darshan knows how to play a lot of different champions and a lot of different styles. And that's one of the most fun parts about Cloud9 Academy when you look at this roster developing, because you're like, okay, you have this veteran LCS top laner who can teach a lot of these different styles to some of these younger players. And they are finding success. They are finding wins with these. So I hard agree. I think that right now, if you're Cloud9 Academy, you're up 1-0 in a series. You can have some fun with it and give Darshan a cheesy counter pick. But we'll see what they decide to do. Because, again, to recap that game number 1, I still think a lot of it had to do with that level 1 invade. And how, just to be a little blunt, how sloppy ZOOS played it. 3 members versus 3 members when the enemy's invading. You don't want to split up. They all went their different directions and got focused down at different times when they already got Darshan's flash right away. So it's kind of hard to say if you run that back and that early game doesn't happen, what does that game look like?
Well, and the infected cleaver poke as well as the parlay coming in from Darshan was really what turned the tide and gave Cloud9 a dominant and invasion in that, because they were able to poke out RBM and Alorum so much that it didn't become an option for ZOOS Gaming to continue pressuring. And the fact that they did really slowed down RBM. It made them sort of trying to grasp at straws, and you could give the benefit of the doubt that Cloud9 Academy really underestimated ZOOS Gaming in that blue buff invasion where Dark Wings was able to drop that ward down. Alorum came in with that TP and they got first blood onto Surenfire. Like that was something that I feel like Cloud9 just didn't expect that to happen fully, and they didn't take that into equation and gave them a little bit of a head start. But the rest of the game was pretty traditional for Cloud9 Academy, and with something like a Mundo jungle where you see a lot more in solo queue, it's a jungle pick that if it's left to its own devices, if it's allowed to do whatever it wants and just power farm and creep, then the Mundo will become almost impossible to deal with. And Surenfire really betted on that to happen, saying, ZOOS Gaming, you're not going to interact with me, you're not going to counter me whatsoever, I'm going to be allowed to do my thing and just overwhelm you with this pick.
And that goes into the point that I was making before of making early plays with the Skarner, because Surenfire was doing such a good job of just tracking RBM through the jungle, just watching wherever the Skarner was going, and then always doing a counter invade elsewhere on the map. He was in that bottom jungle around that blue buff. He took, what, 3 blue buffs? At least 2 blue buffs during that game. I want to say that there was a third snuck in there as well, but regardless, the point stands. Whenever he sees that Rift Herald go topside, whenever he sees a gank happening topside, he's always on the bottom half of the map making something else happen and playing around Jinx, because King... We didn't hype him up too much either going into that game, but he has been historically one of the big carries on Cloud9 Academy. If this player gets fed, he can pop off. So just having the jungle presence around the bottom half of the map, it just allows him that safety net to do so. So if we're looking at this from ZOOS' perspective, like you had said, maybe focus on the bot half of the map, maybe go for some plays, try and play around Raheen. Is that going to work with this defensive style that we saw from Cloud9 Academy in that game 1?
We'll have to see how the draft goes, because as much as people like to banter on how much either some analysts really pressure draft as being the most crucial and game deciding part of League of Legends, it is something that carries a lot of weight going into those entry-level plays or those win conditions that we're looking for. Even though I want ZOOS Gaming to pressure a lot more into that bottom side of the map, you are playing into Cloud9 Academy's strong side with King and Isles, who can play safe. They can play Senna and Tom Kench totally fine. They can play the Ezreals if they want. It's the fact that once you get to a place where they were also allowed to just sort of boil under the surface and then come out in these team fights where King is that better macro caller and is better in those team fight situations when you need an instant reaction out of your carry to make or break those moments, that's where King can come out on top. And if you're allowed to at least pressure down and sort of keep him subtle for a little bit longer, ZOOS Gaming might have the chance in those mid-game performances to really come out on top, where Raheen can actually bring out a lot more in those team fights. But it's very difficult to say just on the surface for now until we get to those draft points, because if it's the same situation like the Varus Thresh against the Jinx Rel, we might just see that rinse and repeat, or if we are able to see a Tristana from either of these carries.
I like how you called King subtle. It's like, no, don't look at me. I'm not subtly 30 CS up against my lane opponent. I'm not getting a 2v2 kill in lane. No, don't look at me. Don't worry. I'm not a scaling Jinx. Yep. I think it's funny, the energy that we came into this day with was, we saw these amateur teams beat academy teams last week. The field is closer than we expected. And then, of course, the game that we have today is Cloud9 Academy versus ZOOS Gaming. So I don't want anyone to think that just because Cloud9 Academy did very well in that game number one, and depending, no matter how the rest of the day goes, the field is still close. We can still see teams take games off of any other team. Yep. Now it's the Toilet Paper Cat's turn to prove me right in that statement. We'll see what they can do on the blue side here as we're finally loaded on to the pick and ban phase here. Woohoo! So we'll see what adaptations come through. Still, so far, pretty general bans. Very meta. TF taken off. Hecarim taken off.
Hecarim taken away. Don't want that onto RBM. It's a pretty beefy engager that can force those team fights a lot better than the Skarner can in the current patch of 11.6. Though I'm curious to see what else we're going to be seeing taken away, because ZOOS Gaming, not really a team that plays Seraphine. Cloud9 can definitely play it. Copy and King are totally comfortable with taking that pickup, so that might be something that gets banned away. But if it is blue side and ZOOS Gaming is okay with leaving it open and they prefer to take something else off the board, then Cloud9 might be able to pick another scaling utility composition on the bottom side of the map. So have to see if that comes into fruition. As Jinx is taken away, Cloud9 accepts that you do not want that scaling team fighter ADC in Raheen's pockets. Get it out of here.
We're getting an early look into what Cloud9 Academy values on the current patch and in the meta. They first picked the Jinx on blue side themselves. They banned Jinx from the red side, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Okay, there we go. Thank you, ZOOS, taking away Seraphine. If no one remembers, Cloud9 Academy were the team that played Janna Seraphine in their first debut game in Academy. That's always, every time I watch this team, I have nightmares, flashbacks to that game. So we will not see that, but we do see the Tristana hovered here from ZOOS Gaming, a flex pick. You had highlighted that as something that potentially ZOOS would go for, and they do.
Yep, there you go. The Tristana, fairly predictable from ZOOS Gaming. Does, of course, say, well, if Coco was able to predict it, Cloud9 definitely took it into consideration. So this is where Cloud9 can play a little bit of a guessing game and priority for their draft, saying, okay, we can either pick a bot lane now where Tristana is going to have a little bit of a difficult time against it, or we can pick something into a jungle mid situation where Tristana has to trade into this place where she's always going to be curious if there's a jungler in the back pocket. And Cloud9 Academy goes with probably the best options, with Lucian here being a more likely than not mid laner, but can still be flexed into King's pockets with Rel on Isles once again.
Yeah, I'm curious if they want to put that matched up against the Tristana specifically, thinking, okay, we can put it mid if Triss goes mid, we can put it bot if Triss goes bot, because they still have the counter pick as well on the red side. So this kind of could give them two counter picks in a way. Grog is locked in for ZOOS Gaming. Now, this is something that Rhino has played, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see that go into the support position rather than something like top lane or jungle.
It's also good into Rel too, so it's something that it's a great flex here, and ZOOS Gaming really flexing their muscles as well in their pickups, with Tristana and Gragas both being able to go in multiple situations and play and wear multiple hats. But with that, this is where I'm going to be a little bit crazy and say Syndra might be able to go bottom lane. But with Gragas, if it is Gragas support, then most likely than not, Dark Wings will be piloting it on the Syndra. He is also someone that does like to play the Syndra too. So this is starting to show the hand from ZOOS Gaming, saying, look, you're going to have a Triss Gragas in the bottom side of the map. Dark Wings is going to look to try and kill your mid laner whenever he can once he hits level 6. And now we have to figure out, all right, how's that mid jungle matchup going to be? And with Lilia locked in, you've got a power farmer that can apply a lot of pressure away from the lanes and force ZOOS Gaming to play a little bit of a different style.
It's surprising not to see the Orianna locked in, though, because Dark Wings is also an Orianna player.
True.
And I kind of like her as a blind pick a little more than the Syndra, but this does mean that ZOOS Gaming can ban out some things that would be played into that Syndra. And I guess if you're expecting the Lucian to go mid, you can say, yeah, I can just blow you up once I hit level 6. So
it's more of a throwing of the gauntlet kind of thing, saying, look, one, Dark Wings, it sounds like he prefers the Syndra over the Orianna in those situations, and it's a lot more difficult for Orianna to deal with the Lucian than the Syndra can. So already throwing that gauntlet down to sort of show that challenge in the mid lane. We might actually be able to see some blood shed in that mid lane this second game, so we're hoping for both Copy and Dark Wings to start dishing out the pain. Though
the respect Vayne ban.
Yeah, this is great, man. The Vayne ban, what's going to be next? Because the thing is you can't really ban out junglers anymore. Like, you could ban out Kindred once again from Surenfire if you want, for ZOOS Gaming to say, you know what, like, let's just take that carry off the table. But the other option is, what do you take away from Darshan? GP was pretty obnoxious in the top side of the map and allowed him to outscale against Lorem. So at this moment, there's so many things that ZOOS can ban that Cloud9 Academy still has the pick of a litter of what they want to take. And Sylas, that makes me feel like they're trying to go for something a little bit more favorable for that Sylas would have liked to steal in a sense of ultimates. Ezreal, nice blind pick. Yeah, you know how it is. Or a counter pick as it is. Tristana's still going to be annoying.
Makes it harder
to
play through the bot lane for ZOOS Gaming, so that is nice there. Very defensive from Cloud9 Academy.
Yeah, I'm a little curious to see what ZOOS picks up on the B4 and 5, because I like the Volibear again. It's a nice like flex, but they're not locking it in just yet. I'm thinking like Cho'Gath is still fine. It's more of a question of what the jungle was going to be, and just as the thought passed my mind, that's a Kha'Zix.
Wow.
So we'll get to that. We'll get to that station once we see the full hand.
This is
of
an
both
RBM
of these teams.
throwback right here. Wow, it's been a while since I've seen him pilot this champ, but this is something he was known for a couple of years ago. And what's crazy here is that the Lucian could still technically be a flex pick. It could also go top lane. So even though we see that Ezreal locked in there, we're not guaranteed to get that Lucian mid, but if that I don't think you played Lucian into Ornn.
I don't think so either.
Doesn't sound like a fun time.
But that does guarantee for us that it is going to be a Gragas and Tristana bottom lane, and Dark Wings will be piloting that Syndra. Sure, we were overthinking a lot of those flexes, but the Ornn really settles any of those doubts into our minds. And Cloud9 Academy says, all right, what do you want, Darshan? Like, pick anything. Like, and this is something where against Ornn, it's kind of tough because you're saying I can't do anything that really wins the lane because Ornn is there to just neutralize it and slow it down. And the Gangplank is another great option. It was still available. He pulled it off in game 1 fairly well with the Divine Sunderer pickup. So with this all laid out on the table, with all the cards being shown for both ZOOS Gaming and Cloud9 Academy, I'm still looking to this jungle once again. A spicy pick from Surenfire in game 1 with the Mundo. Let's see how well the spiciness can be handled when RBM is the one that takes the Kha'Zix.
This is going to come down to who can get lane priority to back up RBM, because when I look at these team compositions, I don't see that much that the Kha'Zix is doing outside of just really shutting down Surenfire's Lilia, because as the Kha'Zix, you just want to isolate the Lilia, find her wherever she is in the jungle, and take her down. But the problem is her clear speed is so fast, it's kind of hard to tell where she's going to be, because she could really be anywhere, taking any camp based on her clear path options. So eyes will be on the jungle for this game for sure. And what a composition to bring out here in the do or die game for ZOOS Gaming. They have to win this to keep the run in the upper bracket alive. Keep in mind the loss here would put them in the lower bracket, so they still will continue throughout the tournament. But if they want to rep these amateur teams, rep the newer players, the names that we haven't seen, also all native North American players, by the way, all 5 members on ZOOS Gaming as opposed to Cloud9 Academy with 3 Oceanic representatives. ZOOS Gaming, they got to show up right here and right now. So this will be an interesting one for sure.
there's so much damage on these comps. Like,
yeah,
Lucian, Ezreal, Gangplank, it's very I'd say it's very back-ended for the most part. Like, you want King's Ezreal to just constantly poke out and then clean people up with the ultimates. Gangplank, of course, it's a Gangplank. He's going to be scaling, so just wait until he gets a couple items and then bang. Though, for ZOOS Gaming, that's some damage. That is some upfront damage. Raheen with the Hail of Blades Tristana going to be pouncing on top of you. RBM going to be looking to burst you as fast as possible. It is a phase rush, Kha'Zix, by the way, and for anyone that is concerned of saying, why didn't he take Electrocute, or why not Dark Harvest? Phase rush is there to stick onto Surenfire and make sure that he can take out this Lilia, kill the deer before it gets out of the jungle and looks for help.
All right, everybody on Twitch chat right now. Now is your time to screenshot that screen. We do, in fact, see the Toilet Paper Cats going up against Cloud9, a historic moment in the LCS, and potentially the last time that we'll see them unless ZOOS can actually clutch this one out here, representing Amateur. All the Amateur fans probably rooting for ZOOS. All the Academy fans probably rooting for Cloud9. We'll see what happens here in the early game. So far, no early shenanigans, just a couple shallow wards placed from each side to make sure that neither team is looking for those early invades. So we will not have that crazy level 1 that we saw in game number 1.
Yeah. And I do want to touch base with sort of what we were discussing earlier on before the draft came up about how ZOOS Gaming should be looking to really pressure this bottom side of the map. With how that draft turned out, it's a little different. Like, you are very much looking to get RBM online. The lanes are now playing for the jungle this time around. They're looking for that pressure, and they're trying to make sure that this Kha'Zix can always have the upper hand no matter where he is on the map, whether he's forward or back, looking for a skirmish or looking for a gank. They need to be helping him out to get this Kha'Zix online and snowballing to take out any of these squishy members once it gets to the mid-game phase. And him padding up to the top side of the map is a possible way to really shut down Darshan as well, as we see a couple gentlemen's agreements trades happening on the bottom end saying, all right, who gets control for the next few minutes?
Yeah, just a trade. King taking some damage here, but once he hits level 2, should be very safe in that lane. But I'm happy that you highlighted the top lane of the map because Darshan has shoved in, and RBM could look to roam up there earlier on. We don't expect the kills to go onto Alorm. This isn't the type of top lane gank where you're like, okay, get my top laner fed so he has a better matchup. You're right. This is RBM saying, give me the kills, and I will carry this game. So Darshan has to be very careful. There's been no wards placed yet. But RBM is actually not looking for it. He's looking to hit level 3 first, but we're starting to see just how much faster the Lilia clear speed is.
It's obnoxious, isn't it? But I gotta give a shout out for RBM, who's being able to keep pace. Yes, he did ignore his Krugs, but that's there to not only make sure that he has the pressure to apply onto Darshan on this Gangplank, who is deciding to go for that cheater recall, and also to sort of keep tempo with that Lilia, because with Lilia clearing bottom to top as well, not only is it defensive, it's also still the fastest clear that she has. And with this reset, and Alorm sort of communicating to RBM, look, he's going for the cheater recall, that gank is no longer available. This is where Surenfire and RBM have to make that gentleman's agreement and say, you know what, we're going 1-for-1 on the scuttles, and it slows down the game a little bit more. Cloud9 Academy, they're looking favorable for a few moments. Now the next checkpoint we're going to be looking at is the initial resets from these junglers into the dragon that will be popping up in 90 seconds.
Yeah, because of that shove from Darshan topside, the cheater recall comes in. Alorm cannot help contest for that top scuttle. Ideally, if you're the Kha'Zix, you kind of want to contest the Lilia. Or at least I would imagine you would like to contest the Lilia. Maybe my knowledge of the matchup is just incorrect there, but he doesn't have the backup from top lane, so goes for the trade instead, and actually doesn't go for the early back, now goes towards Krug. So Surenfire on the map will have those Lucidity boots much earlier than RBM.
It's then a question of how those resets are going to happen, right? Like, the dragon spawns in a minute. C9 isn't really able to take it unless they invest all of their bottom side to try and challenge it, where ZOOS Gaming, they can have only a couple members. If you get a nice reset call out from ZOOS Gaming and say, look, RBM, bot lane's gone, you can try and sneak dragon, that's available for them on the board and try and help snowball this game a little bit more in their favor. But at this moment in time, RBM hasn't backed yet. He's going for that second clear. He's trying to get as much gold as possible, so when that dragon does spawn, he'll have that itemization upper hand if Surenfire tries to peek in.
And also wards going down here into the mid lane.
Nice
Rhino roaming up. Yeah, he's looking for it, but Copy playing very defensively, very safe. I love it when supports do this. You try and like pretend like you're backing with your AD carry because Raheen just went for the reset, but instead the support roams up. But Copy not caught out by it. Drops a ward down. RBM realizing, okay, I'm kind of low health. I can't actually dual copy if he sticks around. So copy, he's going to catch his mid wave, and RBM is going to be put even further behind in the clear. This is not what you really want to see from the Kazakhs early on. Rhino, though, looking for it. Has the body slam flash if he wants it, but copy could just flash in response. So we'll back off safely.
I think at this point, with supports and ADCs with all the resets, it's you kind of have to expect these roams coming in around level 3, level 4 in the mid lane. And Copy understood that to a point, as he was able to get out fairly well. As he has hit level 6 before Dark Wings, the pressure from Lucian is starting to win favor, but he still takes a lot of damage from this Syndra. And this is where, keeping this eye on this mid lane pressure, we're going to have to see how well these junglers will look towards this potential kill lane once Dark Wings also hits that ultimate mark.
And RBM did finally complete that back, so coming into this lane here with another item. Surenfire also went for the back. So both junglers relatively, actually pretty much the exact same power between the two of them. And they will start to converge around this bottom half of the map. Focus on this early objective from the Dragon. Darkwing's doing a lot of damage to Copy. Unleash power is enough! Woo. Solo kill for Darkwings. That's the amateur mid laner we love.
Yep, level 6 immediately. Darkwing says, I'm looking for a kill as soon as possible. Copy just extending a little bit too far. And they're able to pick up that first blood and a solo kill that also wins that mid lane pressure. Thankfully for Cloud9 Academy, Surenfire is able to get that scuttle so they can keep eyes on this dragon and sort of dissuades RBM from trying to challenge for anything more. And to that end, ZOOS Gaming already a little bit ahead here, though the gold is still even. The pressure is still in Cloud9 Academy's favor thanks to Surenfire, but this is what we wanted out of Dark Wings, as you said. We need some blood for ZOOS Gaming so they can feel confident going into the mid game.
Where did that mana come from? Did he just hit level... No, he just hit level 7 there.
He just hit level 7, so that...
He got the burst of mana from the runes and then was able to actually take down Copy. That was really well played by Darkwings. You'll love to see that here. And doesn't get them the dragon, but gets them control of that mid lane for a small portion. And now Copy going for a roam topside.
It's going to be pretty hard to kill this Ornn. He has all his sums... Like, he has flash available. He can get out if he needs to.
Darshan looks for the slow, but they don't find it.
I think because of that roam, it just gives a good sign for RBM and the rest of ZOOS Gaming. Say, look, there's not a lot of pressure on the bottom side. Let's go ahead and take this dragon. You can just hop over the wall with Gragas and Kha'Zix, so they can take it free of charge. And Cloud9 Academy is completely unaware until that notification pops up on their screen saying, well, at least we know Kha'Zix is on the bottom side of the map. But with that quick recall from RBM, he's going to be top fairly shortly, so you got to watch out, Darshan and Surenfire, because there is a assassin bug on the top end that is looking to get some pressure here onto this Rift Herald and really try and snowball a lot of the lead that Darkwings is able to win in that quick early trade for First Blood.
And Cloud9 Academy, they like to trade for objectives. Sometimes, like last game, they do go for them all themselves, but that time it felt like they were trading that dragon for Copy to roam topside. Now, Isle was running up there, but actually went to the bottom side of the map. Surenfire stealing away the Grump from RBM. So RBM now even further behind. He cannot get this blue buff. Copy with the roam Lucian, actually putting out a lot of pressure on the map. He's not too concerned about losing that solo kill against Darkwings. Not deterred by that. He says, I can be useful elsewhere.
Darkwings decided to push in his lane instead of trying to challenge for that blue buff, while Rhino roamed up to say, look, we know what they're trying to go for. We know what the bigger picture is. It's on this Shelly. Let's have some manpower up here and make sure that Surenfire really doesn't try and bite off more than he can chew against us in the second game of the series. With that, everything goes back to a little bit of a neutral state for a moment as resets come in from Surenfire. You mentioned Isles hovering at this mid lane. He was a little bit late to that Herald call just because of the resources that ZOOS Gaming was throwing out. He had to match it. And because of that, it allows these two EDCs to continue farming up, and King, again, still having a farm lead over his opponent of Raheem.
Oh, teleport coming in. Surenfire just looks for the immediate initiation here onto RBM, and he's dead. King gets that kill. Wow, the willingness from Cloud9 Academy to just pull the trigger. They had the CC chain available, and that's just a Kha'Zix. He can do damage, but not if he can't move.
Fortunately, gets hit. Nothing else to say besides Cloud9 Academy being able to find a great pick onto RBM and find a kill for themselves, and it goes on to King to boot, so they'll be able to get to that Essence Reaver and Manamune fairly shortly. Though, I'm a little little happy for ZOOS Gaming. The fact that they've been able to tame some of the issues that had happened earlier on against Cloud9 Academy in Game 1. Sure, there wasn't any cheeky plays here, but
real hell of an optimist, Coco. But here we go. Raheem's taking a lot of damage. Isles with the engage on the Rhino and Raheem. Okay. From the bush, that's what a Rel can do. Just chain AoE CC for days.
That fight was a little off call. Darshan, though.
Is he going to win this 1v1 against Darshan? No, there's no way. Doesn't have the damage quite. Uses the ultimate, so Darshan does get chunked down, but might have been a little greedy as he can't even get that wave fully reset under that turret.
So the reasoning of why I was a little confused and caught off guard for this C9 engagement on the bottom side of the map is because there's nothing to fight for this bottom side. There's no reason to really get any definitive win on this bottom side of the map because everyone's
flash onto King. He just jumps away. He's got Flash, he has his E available, and King gets out just fine. It is a trade of Flashes at least, and exhaust used by Isles, but ZOOS don't find anything.
That at least made a little bit more sense to me, because you're saying, all right, we have the pressure to try and challenge for some plates, and if we can get King away, we can at least push Isles away and grab some plates for Raheem to try and catch up.
It's not over. Rhino's taking damage. King dead back. Rhino's going to go down. Isles actually gets killed. Raheem jumps in and does not realize Surenfire is here. Raheem's in a lot of trouble right now. Has to use the ultimate. Actually does a lot of damage to Surenfire. There's no more CC. He flashes away, but here comes Copy around the corner and gets a kill for himself. Cloud9 Academy capitalized on the over-aggression of ZOOS' bot lane and find 2 kills.
Yeah, and with that, a great call from the rest of the team, knowing that Raheem and Rhino were looking for blood, but it gives a breath and a just slight moment for ZOOS Gaming to try and bite more away from Cloud9 Academy, and they're able to get first brick here in mid lane. This opens up the map a lot for RBM, who, yes, he's still only sitting on a serrated Dirk and Ionian boots, but he's able to get some additional deep warding in, keep track of where this Surenfire is going, and it gives some safety for Darkwings as well, who could try and look for this kill onto top side where Darshan is really overextended.
Yeah, Darshan does not realize that Aloran was still there. He's going to be slowed down. RBM is here. Flash is available, but I think he's just going to save it. Yeah, you're not getting out of this one. Do they give the kill to Darkwings or to RBM? He does flash, and it's RBM that gets the kill. ZOOS Gaming, yeah, they make trades across the map. They lose 2 bot lane, but they get that middle turret, and they also get a kill top side. You love to see those kinds of trades.
And with that, Cloud9 Academy says we have to take off what we can from the bottom side of the map, but Copy, he's playing a little bit greedy here. He's going to have to play
just get Copy. Rhino with the explosive cast, body slam just barely lands, flashed by Darkwings. Actually doesn't have the damage though. Okay. That was surprising. I thought that would do a little more, but Copy with that 1-0 magic mantle, still alive, still in the fight. Darkwings not finding that kill. And now Cloud9 Academy, they can continue their pressure around this dragon and not lose their mid laner.
Still sleeping in the side lane, King able to get a lot of turret plates under himself. Wonder how much he's able to accrue. Yes, there's only 2 turret plates left there on that bottom side of the turret, but how much gold was he able to get for himself? Was that all for him, right? And the differential for that is really starting to show in those items. And though they have the manpower down in the bottom lane, RBM and Darkwings won that mid lane pressure. They're able to get this Ocean Drake for themselves and determine what the elemental map is going to be. It's going to be a cloud map for both of these teams. Not
pretty good for RBM.
Yeah, not as punchy as the other options, but it's going to be very favorable for either of these teams when it comes down to those scrappy skirmishes.
Oh, RBM's going to find himself alone right here. Their Surenfire ultimate is used, and Copy's there too. That is a dead Kha'Zix. No, it's not! He flashed away and also got the invisibility up. So right as I called it, RBM does get out, but that is a summoner spell down and another blue buff to Surenfire.
Spoke a little too soon, but he's RBM's sort of hanging around, seeing if he can at least get some jungle camps and heal back up, and see if Darkwings can possibly get Surenfire here.
Maybe he goes for it. He takes it!
Woo. What the?
He said, Surenfire, you had enough blue buffs last game. Give me my blue buffs this game. You can't take them all, man.
Man. The passive in me said, you know what? He's just going to go for his regular jungle camps. He's going to forfeit the blue buff over to Surenfire. But Darkwing says, no, we got the manpower. We can take this Lilia down if we need to. And with that, RBM gets the confidence back to steal it away. Now,
did you doubt the gamer formerly known as Really Big Meme Coco? This man plays Kha'Zix aggressive.
He's a TFT gamer coming back to League of Legends. I've got to have some constraint when it comes to those aggressive plays. But nonetheless, it does mean now looking to the top side, Surenfire hitting that reset button. the next thing I'm looking at is this next Herald spawning, because even though ZOOS Gaming is still, in a sense, right now in tempo because of that reset from Surenfire, they need an additional Herald to make plays.
Immediate engage.
I guess I speak too soon.
There we go. It's Rhino that gets a kill, actually, not RBM, so slightly miscalculated right there, but still, a kill's a kill, and ZOOS Gaming will take that any day of the week.
That's punished. This is a little awkward for Cloud9, and it's out of the ordinary for them, because the kills that ZOOS Gaming is getting are people overextending and sort of disrespecting ZOOS Gaming's potential to catch people off guard, to catch people in more greedy positions. And this is where ZOOS Gaming now has a chance to try and swing this game back. They were a little bit behind in that gold just off of the turret plays that King was able to get, as well as the farming differential. But with that shutdown, you know, everything's back even once more, and ZOOS Gaming having the dragon pressure can look for Soul Point fairly soon, so Cloud9 Academy has to turn on the afterburners when it comes to this mid-game in just a few moments' time.
But the incredible thing is it didn't happen through playing around bot lane like we thought maybe they could go for before we saw the drafts. Nope, King's on Ezreal, so they play through mid lane instead. Darkwings has been having an incredible performance so far on the Syndra. Ooh, ZOOS are still here. They're just waiting for... Look at this cheesy... play. You can't get away with this.
It worked on Darshan on the top side, where Alorem faked a recall and they were able to get that flank onto him, but you have to see if they're able to do it once more. But yeah, like you said, the draft did change the win conditions for ZOOS Gaming a little bit. I think because Darkwing's got that solo kill onto copy, that's where you're investing a little bit more onto that Syndra, but it's still very much focused around trying to get RBM kills, trying to funnel him to have a better mid-game performance where he can sort of keep up with Surenfire, who's still out-CSing him, out-clearing him, really having better jungle pressure and giving a lot of that tempo into Cloud9's favor for the majority of this game, even though it feels like it's currently in ZOOS Gaming's favor, just because they're around the bigger objectives. They're the ones that are around the Heralds, around the Dragons, so they can make a big play, where Cloud9 Academy is still sort of looking for those sides and picking off sort of scavenger plays where they can still always have a chance going into these team fights when the objective is really determined. Yeah.
They will be spotted on a ward. Yeah, I was going to say, we've been talking from the ZOOS Gaming side for quite a while. I think it's because there's a lot of excitement around, based on how Game 1 went, that, hey, we're seeing potentially a series on our hands. But right as I say it, they go for another play at the top half of the map. Darshan in a lot of trouble here. Alorem can tank this turret for quite a while, and there is damage backup coming in from ZOOS. Now, will Alorem go down to that final turret shot? Nope. Just barely not. Maybe Darkwings does. Oh, no, the one final shot. It is a trade of kills. Not what ZOOS Gaming were hoping for, but well played by Darshan. This player is so good playing weak side of the map, and that is exactly why.
He may not want to play weak side of the map well, but he's learning it on a Cloud9 Academy with this gameplay, so he's fairly familiar with the territory in Season 11, and King grabbing this turret in mid lane is going to be exchanged from the top side, but Cloud9 is getting 2 turrets for, it looks like 2 on the top end, with Herald not yet dropped. ZOOS Gaming playing a little bit of the long con, saying, you know what, let's see if we can hold out for as long as possible. And just like that, they drop it at the very last moment as the resets come in from Cloud9, so they can make sure that it is a 2-for-2 trade, and Herald will live long enough to try and charge this inhibitor turret. You're looking at the resets from ZOOS Gaming. They've got their eyes set on the prize for Dragon.
Isles is here. Could look for a flank engage, but didn't actually itemize fast enough. Oh, wait, no, maybe he is.
Speak too soon, maybe.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's going to corral Rhino here, who could be playing to bait. Isles goes in. There's the teleport. Oh, King's over the wall. Has to flash away. And I think after that, maybe ZOOS actually get out of this. No copies here. Rhino is his target. He really wants to get that damage. There's the Colin. It's actually Darshan that gets the kill. So it is a man down for ZOOS now. Well played by Cloud9 Academy. They've silently just been scaling, Coco. This is what they do. But as I say, that Surenfire might just go down right here. Darkwings, one last orb should be enough. Cannot find him. Had the flash available, but Surenfire did too, so I don't think he was willing to trade those summoner spells.
Yeah, but RBM has to lick his wounds in the jungle camps to heal back up to try and contest for this dragon. King shoots out his ultimate just to make sure that he can see anyone trying to challenge anything on the backside of the pit. And Surenfire as well.
They can go. They can force the engage here, King. Okay, he doesn't have his E anymore. Here we go. If Alorem can get him, they actually get in on the Surenfire, and Lily is out of the fight already. Dragon, this should be third secured here for ZOOS Gaming.
Yeah, and both teams trying to see if they could get the favorable setup for Dragon, but Darkwings is able to find the perfect scatter of the week onto Surenfire and guarantees the 3rd point for ZOOS Gaming.
He's got heal. He's
King's
got one
done.
arcane shift.
He's
Can
dead.
he survive? Nope, nope. I tried to build it up, Coco. I tried to do a cool thing. But no, he's dead.
Yeah. Sometimes I've watched enough horror movies to know that when you just saw another guy get killed and you're still in the dark, you're pretty dead.
Yeah. You're the follow-up kill.
Yeah.
But hey, you survived a little bit longer, right? That means that you're slightly more main of a character.
He's got the plot armor. I think
you just don't want to be the annoying guy. You don't want to be the annoying guy that makes it to like the top 3. But regardless, let's look at this from Cloud9 Academy's perspective, because we've been talking a lot from ZOOS' perspective, but Cloud9 still are up in the series, and they still do like to play these games into the late stages. We're at that 20-minute mark. We're past the early stage by far. We are transitioning into these big team fights. What's Cloud9 Academy going to be focused on in these next couple minutes?
Well, like I said before, the reason why we've been discussing more about ZOOS Gaming is because Cloud9 Academy is looking for the little wins. They're not looking for the big smashing plays, because they know they can out-micro ZOOS Gaming. And this is one of those instances where they say, you know what, we don't really need to worry about the dragon because we can catch them out before the dragon really becomes a concern. And that's what C9 Academy is able to do. The only problem is they weren't able to get a kill onto RBM, and Darkwings is playing out of his mind right now on this Syndra. He's able to force Surnfire away to where he can't win that mid lane tempo, and he's able to get the kill onto him to where ZOOS Gaming is able to get that jungler kill to get that that soul point onto this Cloud Dragon. So with Cloud9 Academy, they need to still play the exact way that they're doing right now, getting those little wins, getting those vision control advantages around these big objectives to where they can continually find pick after pick and shut ZOOS Gaming out before a team fight really comes into fruition.
And we did see in last game they get all the dragons. This time around, with it being that Cloud Soul, that's a soul that you can give up. You know, you don't have to throw everything you have into this next play, but they still could. It's 3 minutes away, but they are just barely up in gold. Cloud9 Academy have been holding on, so they're not like super far behind in any stretch of the imagination. They still can't look for these fights, but speaking of fights, here we go. Alorm's looking for the engage. Copy's doing a lot of damage burst over there. Alorm just on his own, looking Copy. RBM got in onto him, just assassinated! Darkwings with the follow-up. That's a double kill to the mid laner. And an explosive cast on the Surnfire. Beautiful from Rhino. 3 in succession for ZOOS. That's going to be Baron.
And with that fight, you know, you're saying Dragon isn't really important when it's Cloud Soul. I don't know, when you have an engagement button available every single moment in time, Alorm says, let's go. Darkwing is like, I got the damage. My ult's up every 30 seconds. Let's take him out. Cloud9, yes, they may be trying to fight for ZOOS Gaming to never be in that team fight situation, but it's really difficult to do it when ZOOS Gaming can always hit the go button. And with this, Baron is taken, power play online for ZOOS Gaming, and man, oh man, I don't even think there's a single tanky player on Cloud9 Academy that can survive the burst damage that Darkwings and RBM is pumping out.
Yeah, look at this engage. None of the tanks are on King and Copy. This is perfect for RBM. Look at this engage. He's like, I see 2 carries, I'm killing him.
He's done. And RBM gets out. RBM gets out with 10 health during all that. No one dies. Absolute win. This is my favorite one. Or just bam.
Yeah. Bah.
What's a summoner spell? Yeah, you know what? You should have gone teleport. Flash doesn't matter for Lilia. As
all right, anybody listening, that was a joke. Don't.
It was a joke. Don't take it seriously. Don't believe Twitter analysts. I swear.
But regardless, ZOOS with a huge team fight win right there. Right as I was saying, these team fights can still be close from Cloud9 Academy. And now with a 3k gold lead, it's looking harder and harder for them to actually go for this Dragon Soul fight that is coming up here. So we got to track the cooldowns. Multiple flashes still available for ZOOS. All ultimates still available. But you look at Cloud9, they don't have that many flashes, or at least on that Copy and Surnfire. Speaking of King, he's just going to die, right? There we go. Just barely gets away fast enough. And now Isle's actually looking for the re-engage because Copy is there. Surnfire is there. RBM is not. He goes down. Alorm TP's in. Trying to get onto Surnfire.
Oh, that's 2 people dead.
Raheen's got the damage. We talked about Darkwings. We talked about RBM, but now it's Raheen's turn to put the carry pants on. Maybe he was death already. He is traded back, but he gets a double kill. Darkwings gets one for himself. They're diving Darshan under the turret. Rhino will go down for this. Darshan's big. Darshan's got a shield. He's got a big, healthy health bar, but not enough. Darkwings and Alorm with the tank in front of him. They can bully back Darshan. I think even just the Syndra and Orange should take this dragon.
They just need to call it. Say, you know what? Let's not try and give Darshan any ground. Let's go ahead and take this soul right now so we can have that additional push from
Darshan
soul.
TP'd in.
Oh.
He's got a full health bar. Alorm doesn't. Darkwings, he still's got a full mana bar, though, so Darshan has to play this very carefully. Doesn't actually get the double barrel chain, but He just dissuades dudes from actually going for that dragon, because now Isles is showing up. Now a TP coming in from Copy. Cloud9 Academy, they really want this dragon.
Yeah, they can't give it over, because then you're just giving not only an additional ability haste for this ZOOS Gaming team comp to just constantly team fight, but he's also giving that speed boost as well.
There. Does he get the steal? He did! He gets the steal! RBM steals the dragon soul away! He'll sacrifice his life, but that's a trade that they are willing to take. What a steal.
Oh, Copy!
I guess there we go, Copy, okay. Right. He takes a lot of damage. So Cloud9 Academy, they're like, we have a man advantage, we have to push this, but if ZOOS can just back off and not give it to Cloud9 Academy, then they are fine. Yeah, Cloud9 Academy aren't going to find it. Maybe they can siege just mid-turret, but they're not going to find much more.
And just like I said, it was very crucial for Cloud9 Academy to deny that Cloud Soul, excuse me, as it's just giving ZOOS Gaming so much chase potential with the bonus movement speed, as well as team fight initiation, because their ultimates, Call of Forge God is going to be up every minute now. It's going to be really hard to try and fight over these Barons and over these siege moments when ZOOS Gaming is on the forward front and saying, look, we're going to try and push you off. We have the tools to do it. We can do it multiple times in rotation. And with this, it was a great call from Darshan and Copy. Like, this is a beautiful call from Cloud9 Academy to continue the pressure. But Predator does not reveal invisibility, unfortunately, and RBM is able to get that kill.
Also didn't have Smite anyway, yeah. So Surefire, there's very low chance of getting that. That was pretty much secured by RBM from the get-go, yeah.
It's tough, but it was the right call for Cloud9 Academy. It's just not all members were able to teleport down there as quickly. So unfortunate for that end, but now we have to think once more for ZOOS Gaming in this driver's seat. 2,000 gold up. It's not much. You look across the board. Well, one, you got a Leandri's Torment onto King. Little question, or Leandri's Anguish, but Alorum, at least you're able to find him and be able to snowball some side lane pressure.
Yeah, tank gets cut out. What can ZOOS get for that? That's 4 members of Cloud9 Academy spent to go for that play. Now Darshan trying to catch us mid-wave. It looks like they're just getting lane priority around mid and top. There's no big objectives like the Baron for Cloud9 Academy to take, so really this just slows down the game a little more and just gets more gold into their pocket.
And they've got the wave clear to boot as well onto both Darshan and to King. Like it's going to be a little slow for King's side, but they can at least temper any siege that ZOOS is looking for. ZOOS knows that. They can Fnatic push it.
Okay, oh, wait. Does Surefire pop it? No, I thought maybe he goes for it. They had Darshan ultimate too and Copy with Coley. They might have blown up RBM, but... No,
if you got it onto Raheen, maybe. Like if they were able to find Raheen in that 3-man bowling ball, sure. But not at the moment. So it gives a little bit of reprieve. We have Baron in a minute. So ZOOS Gaming is just playing for that. This is a good time for them to reset. Let's get some control, get some vision back into our favor around this river so we can look for those engagements that Alorum has been able to find left and right on this Ornn, and give Darkwing some room to breathe as well. Because both him and Raheen, they're able to get into the thick of the fog of war here when it comes down to these fights, and they need to stick onto these targets who are very slippy for Cloud9 Academy, who are still trying to find those small wins.
Uses the ultimate flash by RBM, and Darkwings is there to back up his jungler. A lot of damage onto RBM, so he should back and reset that health bar here as Baron's coming up shortly. But look at Darkwing's itemization. 3 items completed, 9 stacks on Dark Seal. This Syndra hurts. And yeah, I feel like Cloud9 Academy, they respect that. Darshan's like, no, I can't really actually stay at where I was there, threatening back Darkwing. So for a short while, Cloud9 Academy have vision priority around this Baron, but ZOOS Gaming just group up mid. They're looking for priority of this mid wave first, and then they can approach with their tanks.
And I saw Alorum on the side lane down bot, and as much as it is to make sure that those side waves don't get out of control, he didn't need to go too far. It gave this place where now they have to fight into the darkness that is Cloud9 Academy. Thankfully for them, they can just deathball it. They just need to group up, make sure that they've got the 2 big beefy boys in the front line, and then they can try and challenge this Baron. Now it is C9 who's going to be playing into the darkness, and Isles, he's still fairly squishy on this rail unless he starts the fight. And with that, RBM knows it.
Yeah, there we go. He's just dead. That was so much burst damage. Unless you have Aftershock as that rail, you are squishy. Now Darshan, well played by Alorum. Flashes over the wall, gets the knockup. Darshan should go down. He does go golden. Meanwhile, Copy's 1v1 on the top half of the map, but Darshan is claimed here. Shut down onto Darkwings. A lot of damage traded back, but Copy, he doesn't have the call, he doesn't even have the flash. He tried to kill RBM in a 1v1, and now ZOOS Gaming with that pick onto Darshan, they can go onto the Baron.
Yep. Surenfire is available, though. He can still try and challenge for a smite. And looking at the health bars of the key members of RBM and Darkwings, you have the damage for King and Copy to try and challenge this. But instead of that, they're looking for the mid lane pressure. They're saying, you know what, we can't try and fight into 5 members. Let's try and see if we can get some turrets off the board. Unfortunately for them, the waves that Alorm was able to manage on the bottom side is too far forward. And with that, ZOOS Gaming is able to get this second Baron for themselves without losing much at all.
Yeah, I think eventually that bottom turret may fall, but actually Alarm's going to catch it.
I think you could
He's got a full Baron wave on him, so yeah, no turrets traded for Cloud9 Academy. They just get some bottom farm from the jungle, and now grouping up here. Okay, Darkwings, I like this. I like this. Oh, it doesn't take that much poke either.
Yep.
He could have just straight up blown up Surenfire. If one orb landed, presses R, that guy's dead, but... Not meant to be. ZOOS Gaming, though, do find themselves with this Baron buff. Now they can look to really take control of this game. A crucial game to Coco. Again, a reminder for everybody watching, this is a must-win for ZOOS Gaming if they want to stay in the upper bracket here. They're already down 1-0 in the series, but they are bringing it to Cloud9 Academy, the #1 seeded Academy team. This would be a huge win for the guys at ZOOS Gaming. And if they don't have an orc sponsoring them by the end of this one, I don't even know what to say at that point. But here we go. Elder Dragon is spawning. We're going to see another fight here, most likely.
I hope that they get a tissue paper sponsor out of this one, but we'll have to hold our breath on that.
We got to get Bounty to
get Bounty for
Here we go. All right.
Okay,
Engage comes in from the Lord on the Isles and coming. It's just that easy. RBM with the huge flank. Now Surenfire and King trying to do their best. Darshan teleported in as well, but who's the front line? Who's supposed to keep these carries alive? The answer is unfortunately nobody. ZOOS Gaming just chasing down the rest of Cloud9 Academy. Darshan will go down. Guardian Angel pop. This will be the Elder Dragon over to ZOOS Gaming, and that just might be what breaks the back of Cloud9 Academy. What a team fight. What a statement game from ZOOS Gaming.
And with this, Elder Dragon will be theirs, but it's a question of will they be able to break the base that is Cloud9 Academies. They have a wave pushing in with the assistance of Darkwings in mid lane, but look at the respawn timers. You still got 10 seconds left on to Copy, 15 onto Surenfire, and with that, it's just staggered just enough where ZOOS Gaming could try and look for the end. It's just a matter of if they'll have the manpower and if Cloud9 Academy can try and push them off. But right now, it's looking like a win for them.
Alorm's ult is about to be up. They already have Dark Wings. Rhinos is up too. They can just look to engage under the turrets here and blow somebody up with that Elder Dragon. Yeah, okay, that's some good damage coming out from Copy. Okay. Trying to push back the tanks of ZOOS Gaming, but they got these cannons here. They're just going to wait for these to do the work for them. RBM's pushing bot side too, so they're probably not looking for the game-ending push here. They just want this bottom inhibitor turret. Yeah, just a reminder for everyone, the culling from Lucian does do 300% damage onto minions, so that is why he was able to clear that wave so fast. So they do live a little bit longer. They're able to get all 5 members back and available to try and fight off this siege against ZOOS Gaming. Like you said, all tools are available on the side of ZOOS thanks to the Cloud Soul and Elder Dragon. Cloud9 playing with some handicaps. Yeah, here we go. ZOOS Gaming looking to engage as the turret goes down. They'll take the second inhibitor. Cloud9 Academy have to fight under their Nexus turrets now, unless it's on the top side of the map, but they're just trying to push that wave out if they can, and they can't even get the full bounce back. So ZOOS Gaming... I'm surprised that they're not just going for the game end right now. I mean, they have ultimates. They have the go buttons. I respect them playing slow and safe. I respect them sort of also sort of quote-unquote respecting Cloud9 Academy's poke from both Copy and King. But I do agree with you. I think they could have just hit the go button and full sent it. And at this point, it's just understanding that the Baron is now gone. They do not have that additional buff, and the Elder Dragon's about to fall away as well. As a matter of fact, I think it falls away in like 10 seconds or so as the Elder Dragon timer is back online. So Cloud9 gets a little bit of fresh breath of fresh air, saying, all right, we have to see if we can temper these side waves once more. We don't have double supers just yet. We have to make sure that we have the defenses on this top end of the map, but ZOOS Gaming is already looking to address that. ZOOS Gaming back, they spend all that gold. This is a lot of items that they have advantage. 10k gold lead, this is the engage. They try and catch out Darshan. He's the first to go down, knocked back, still has that shield, and actually it's instead Surenfire. Top laner and jungler traded for ZOOS top laner. Raheem's taking a lot of damage himself though. This Tristana should be careful. Heals back up with lifesteal, and now they just shove in these supers, taking this top turret next. It's going to be every single inhibitor down for Cloud9 Academy. RBM just jumps in. Oh my god, that damage was insane. Oh, that's got to be game right here. ZOOS Gaming pushing in under the Nexus turrets. RBM with an insane performance on the Kazakhs will bring ZOOS Gaming to match point against Cloud9 Academy, tying the series up 1-1. Coco, we got a series on our hands.
And with the final moments of the Elder Dragon buff still in their pockets, ZOOS Gaming decide to hit the go button. They find the kills with Cloud9 Academy scrambling to try and manage all of the waves crashing into the Nexus. And they're able to grab the second game of this series. A tough fight for sure, but it was off of the backs of Darkwings being able to find a holding in that mid lane against Copy. Makes you understand, well, that's why they picked up the Orianna in game 1 for Cloud9 Academy, and with RBM being able to pick up his signature Kazakhs as well to really make sure that they could always take someone out off of the backline of C9A. It's a lot of different options, a lot of crazy plays from both of these teams to make an absolute ridiculous 30-kill game in the second one of the series.
It's exactly what I wanted to see from ZOOS. Both coaches cited these teams as being team fight focused teams. The difference, Westeros saying Cloud9, they like to scale. They like to get to that late game first. And this time around with the Kazakhs, with playing around Darkwings of Syndra, ZOOS did not allow Cloud9 to actually get to that stage of the game. And they bring us to game number 3, the number 1 seeded Academy team being put to the ringer right now by ZOOS Gaming. We're going to send it over to a short break before we're back with more League of Legends action. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.